Thank you so much for joining us here today at 888 Post, the site of a new transitional age youth navigation center right in the heart of your district, Supervisor Peskin. Congratulations. I know that you've had to endure a lot of challenging community meetings along with the teams from our HSOC group and others, but thank you so much for your leadership and your work to make this possible. Many of you know that in October of 2018, I set an ambitious goal to build 1,000 new shelter beds by 2020, which was one of the most ambitious goals of building shelter beds in our city's history. This is the largest expansion of shelter beds since 1989. We know that we have a real challenge with homelessness, and along with building more housing, it's important that we have more places for people to go to get the services and the support that they need. And I gotta tell you, I set this goal and I didn't realize how challenging it would be to meet it. You know, we talk about, you know, what we want to see in San Francisco, but I don't think sometimes we realize how much work goes into making this possible. And I want to just take this opportunity to, you know, really express my gratitude to so many folks who are standing here behind me, because it really does take a village. As a result of the work of so many folks, which I definitely want to highlight and mention today, we are going to not only meet our goal of 1,000 new shelter beds this year, we're going to exceed it, and we are expected to at least open a new 1,065 shelter beds this year, and we already have a number of those shelter beds underway. Since I made this commitment, we've opened 566 new beds. We have 299 beds in the pipeline at Jelani House, the Bayview Safe Navigation Center, and the Tay Navigation Center right here at 888 Post Street. And today, I'm announcing a new opportunity, which I'm super duper excited about. 33 Gough Street, where we will provide 200 new navigation center beds, which will take us over our goal. This is absolutely incredible. And let me tell you, I would like to say we could wave a magic wand and this could happen, but it can't. It takes a village, the village of the people who are standing behind me today. There's work that goes into constructing these places. There's the people who have to manage the facilities 24/7. There are so many people to thank for helping us to not only maintain the shelters that we have, but to also raise their hand and say, we're with you, we're here to help, we're here to do whatever it takes to support this effort, and they've stepped up. Our amazing, amazing shelter partners, many of our community-based organizations, including 5 Keys, the Episcopal Community Services, St. Vincent de Paul Society of San Francisco, Community Housing Partnership, PRC, Dolores Street Community Services, Providence Foundation, Hospitality House, Larkin Street Youth Services, Hamilton Families, Homeless Prenatal Program, DISH, Compass Family Services, and Catholic Charities. All of these organizations do not only tremendous work of working with us on our shelter system, but they also work with us on our wraparound supportive housing system here in the city. They do amazing work, and we are so grateful because we couldn't do this work without them. So thank you to our nonprofit providers. And also, thank you to many departments in the city who work together to make this possible, including the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Services, the Department of Public Health, and Dr. Grant Colfax is with us here today, the San Francisco Public Works Department, the Real Estate Division, the San Francisco Police Department, the Human Services Agency, and the Port of San Francisco. Many of our department heads are here today, and we are grateful for their leadership and working with us to identify locations, to negotiate the lease and the terms, to staff, to provide assistance, and especially the Department of Public Works, because they oversee all of the build out. I mean, as you can see, many of you are probably tired from that 3-flight stairs that you climb to get here. Definitely a commitment. I got my steps in, so I'm kind of excited about that. But part of their role is to put in the elevators necessary, because standing on this space will be where people will reside. The second floor will provide the services and support that people need to wash their clothes and to eat and to come together as a community and to get the services and support that they need. So right now you see an open, empty space, but it's going to be an incredible space for the people that we plan to serve. I want to also thank the neighbors and the advocates who've championed these navigation centers in various communities. I know it hasn't been easy, and oftentimes there have been a number of challenges. Everyone, of course, is entitled to their opinion and how they feel, and we understand that there is a lot of uncertainty and people are concerned, but I am hoping that we fulfill our promise to make sure that we provide the support that the folks who are homeless need while maintaining the safety and other issues that people were concerned about in the communities. I want to thank members of the Board of Supervisors who've worked with us to open navigation centers, and more specifically, I want to thank our state partners. The legislation that State Senator Scott Wiener helped to lead in Sacramento is why we were able to open the navigation center on the Embarcadero as quickly as we were able to open it. And so it's given us a tool that has just really made this goal a reality. So thanks to Senator Scott Wiener, Assemblymember David Chu, and Assemblymember Phil Ting. Phil Ting in particular has been a real advocate of providing funding necessary to support navigation centers throughout our city. So it really is a village that has come together to make this possible. So we are meeting the goal that we set, and we are hoping that we see a difference and we feel a difference. And ultimately, shelters are helpful, but we also have to get more housing built in this city so that we can get folks into a safe, affordable place to call home. Nothing is more important than ensuring that there is housing opportunities for all people, for all levels of income. That is really ultimately where I'd like to see our city go and what I will be striving to make happen. What are the next steps after meeting this goal? Well, it doesn't stop because we met a goal. It's time to set a new goal. It's time to do more work. So I know the folks who have worked on this, including Andres Powers, who really is my policy director, but has led this effort and worked with his team and others to make this a reality. I know a lot of them are saying, oh my God, Mayor, what else can we do? I mean, we're working hard every single day to get this done, and you know, we have more to do. People are counting on us to do more, and doing more means that we have a place for people to go. So yesterday when I was out at the Embarcadero, and the HOT team, they were out there talking to people. They were able to, fortunately, get 3 people to commit to a shelter bed at the Embarcadero Navigation Center, but that was 3 people. There were a lot of other folks that refused service, and some of those people were having a number of challenges, and as a result, we needed, of course, to do more. And doing more means that we meet people where they are, whether there is a mental health challenge, whether there is a substance use challenge. We need to make sure that we have a place for everyone to go when we're offering assistance. So part of my goal is to provide 2,000 additional placements. And when I say placements, I don't mean navigation center beds. I just mean placements. Meth sobering centers, safe injection sites, places where people can go to get a hot meal or to wash their clothes or to take a shower, meeting people where they are. So for example, the woman that we ran into who clearly was struggling, clearly needed help and support, was hungry, probably needed a shower, had a lot of things, and refused to accept the service that we provide. What do you do for that person? She said she was hungry but did not want to go to the navigation center. And so having an alternative, having a place that meets people where they are is also important. So when we talk about the next steps is to provide 2,000 additional placements for people, whether that is navigation center beds or sobering centers or safe injection sites or mental health stabilization beds. Whatever that is, we need to expand those opportunities so that we can really make sure that we make an impact of what you see on the streets. Drop-in shelters, just a number of other issues, and I want to make sure that we are prepared to make the investments to do just that. We are already looking at locations throughout San Francisco that could hopefully be, even if they're temporary pop-up locations, like, you know, restaurants do pop-ups, so why not, in this particular case, take something innovative and for the moment provide an opportunity to support people in need and meeting them where they are. I'm really excited about the next steps that we're going to take because ultimately, along with these shelter beds, along with the investments that we're making, along with building more housing and opening up more places for people to live, we are going to see a difference. And again, thanks to the support from members of the Board of Supervisors, we've identified locations, we've been able to open up more locations, but also we've been able to make investments in master leasing a number of buildings that have provided much needed housing. Last week, we broke ground on the Abigail, over 60 units of wraparound supportive housing. You all know about the Bristol and others. We're talking about over 300 new units of supportive housing in our system that we did not have before, which means transitioning people out of shelters into permanently supported housing. That is so key to the success of what we are trying to do here today with adding more shelter beds to our system. And so I want to again thank Supervisor Peskin for being here today and continuing to work with us and to be an advocate for supporting navigation centers, including the one right here in his district. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, the Supervisor for District 3, Supervisor Aaron Peskin.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. I think Mayor Breed has said just about everything, but I will add a few things. As somebody who has been on and off the Board of Supervisors for 20 years, I remember the battle days when San Francisco's government denied the fact that we did not have enough shelter beds. There has been a sea change in recent times under Mayor Lee, followed by Mayor Breed, and I am delighted to be a part of that solution. I also want to say to the folks who live in this neighborhood that we will hold ourselves accountable and you have to hold us accountable. I want to say to Chief Scott and to the folks from HSOC that we need to make sure that this is the best run facility that does not adversely impact the folks who live here and call this home. We have done that in the case of other navigation centers, and we have to make that be true here. I also really want to thank a community that wants to be a part of the solution. We have had a number of meetings here in the neighborhood, and I will be quite candid, they are not without controversy. People are concerned, and rightfully so, and it is my job and the mayor's job and our Department of homelessness's job and our police department's job to make sure that we do it right. I am committed to that, and we will make that come true. And I really want to thank the Lower Polk neighbors, the Lower Polk Community Benefit District for their support and their trust in the city and county of San Francisco. And now let's get this done, 75 beds here. We're going to have more community meetings, including next week. And I want to hear from folks in this community. And like I said, we're going to get this thing right. Thank you, Mayor Breed.
Thank you, Supervisor Peskin. And Jeff Kaczynski could not be with us today because he is in school right now, along with a number of other department heads who are working on ways to improve what we do in San Francisco so that we can make sure that we're working together to produce the results that our city deserves. But Gigi Whitley, who is the Deputy Director of the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Services, is here today. Gigi.
Thank you, Mayor Breed, and thank you, Supervisor Peskin. I'm honored to be here today speaking on behalf of Director Kaczynski. When the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing was formed just 3 years ago, we identified a gap in our city's housing and shelter system. We were about 1,000 beds short of the demand for emergency shelter. Today, thanks to the vision and exemplary leadership of Mayor Breed, the commitment of our HSH team and all of our city departments, and our fantastic community-based providers, we are closing that gap. The 1,000-bed initiative represents the largest shelter expansion over the last 30 years, but builds upon the work of our city to house and shelter 3,000 individuals every night. Temporary shelter is a core component of the city's homelessness response system, but it is only one component. We recognize that housing is the solution to homelessness, and we must create more permanent exits from homelessness through all creative means possible. With that in mind, we begin 2020 having fully deployed coordinated entry, allowing us to match resources to the individual needs of our clients. We begin 2020 with a stronger partnership across city departments to reach the hardest to serve individuals on our streets. We begin 2020 with new permanent supportive housing units opening up this year. And we begin 2020 by expanding problem-solving interventions that empower people to resolve their own homelessness. Yet we recognize that our unsheltered neighbors are suffering on our streets, and all of our residents, our businesses, and our visitors demand more of us. Today marks a milestone in that direction. It is an honor to be here today with Justin Vasquez, who you will hear from shortly, and his inspiring journey to exit homelessness. A special thanks to each and every one of you across our city who volunteer your time to serve food and bring dignity to your neighbors, who operate and work in these valuable programs, who every day advocate for better, who welcome services into your community like this one, who work tirelessly for the city and county of San Francisco, and to all of you who commit yourselves to our shared vision of ending homelessness in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, someone who's been an amazing partner with working with our transitional age youth population has been 5 Keys, and their executive director, Steve Good, is here to provide remarks. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. It's really an honor to be able to be here to speak to everybody about the work that we're doing at both the Embarcadero Navigation Center and the Navigation Center at 125 Bayshore. Our work at 5 Keys, and I'm sure the work of the other providers, is informed by the fact that we know that homelessness infects everybody in San Francisco. Whether it's a child walking to school having to navigate a homeless encampment, or even myself walking to my office and seeing a body and wondering if that person's alive or simply asleep near my office. The other thing that informs us is the reality is that most of us at one point in our life have been one paycheck away from being homeless. And fortunately for so many of us, we had family or friends that we could lean on in those times of need. But when you factor in mental illness, substance abuse, a woman escaping a violent partner, those options for someone to lean on become fewer and far between. That's why Five Keys team truly applauds Mayor Breed and supervisors' efforts to get homeless as the #1 priority in San Francisco with 1,000 beds and now the initiative for 2,000 more places. We strive at Five Keys to provide a safe and welcoming and dignified place where we can help and stabilize guests with their work and work with them to get them off the streets and address the core issues of homelessness, while working with HSA and our city partners to navigate through the complex matrix of city services to truly help our clients and guests get the services they need, the essential services, including housing, permanent housing, and healthcare. This is accomplished by a coordinated system of city departments, including the HOT teams. Then at each shelter, guest, when they arrive to us, is assigned a care manager that works with each guest on their core issues that led them to homelessness, where we work to address the problems in their lives, in particular mental illness with our partner Bayview Foundation and their great work in dealing with mental health issues. The goal is to help our clients get the services they need, whether it be getting access to medical care or needed medication. Our #1 goal of operators is to provide a safe and dignified community for the residents of San Francisco that are without shelter, to provide a respite from the streets or a place to live until housing becomes available. In our view, there is no greater urgency than getting people off the streets and providing a safe, stable place where they want to be, as an alternative to living on the streets or under an overpass. At the same time, this helps restore dignity and help for those without shelter. If our guests do not feel safe with us, then we are not doing our jobs, and that's our #1 priority. Thank you.
And now, at this time, someone who can speak to their experience and how the Navigation Center in the Bayview has supported and helped them, Justin Vasquez.
Hi, what's up, everybody? So basically, I was incarcerated for about 9 months. In incarceration, just getting there, I had no sense of direction, not a very good attitude, you know, and immediately my head turned to education, to do something different with my life, to stop living paycheck to paycheck, to stop you know, the inconsistent lifestyle and, you know, hurting those around me and myself. And as soon as I, you know, fully invested in Five Keys, everything changed. Community is like a huge word right now, like just tapping in with the people surrounded that want a change, that want something different, you know, that, you know, isn't being homeless, isn't, you know, involved in drugs or, you know, several of the issues that just cause a lot of problems. So upon, you know, getting released, tapped in with my case managers, Patrick in custody, helped me set up everything with, you know, the Navigation Center and wanting to move forward, you know, staying out of the streets, staying out of trouble, and attending school and prioritizing. So with that, was at the Nav Center for about 6 months. It's great. Everybody's super extremely supportive, very positive, you know, willing to help with whatever. And, you know, if you really want it, it's there for you. And I truly believe that, you know, Five Keys implements that to the people. Yeah, so, you know, moving forward, I did get the support with school, got my GED, enrolled into City College, so currently attending that, and, you know, I live right up the street. Got a place and staying out of trouble. It's great. And I just want to verbally thank, everybody that's on my support team, Donna, Patrick, Aisha from the NAV Center, Meg from the NAV Center, Jeff from the NAV Center, and Department of Homelessness and Mayor London Breed. The whole community that's putting it together, thank you. Really appreciate it. And best of luck to everybody else, too.
Justin, thank you so much. It's so great when you can actually hear from someone who had the experience and to see all of the amazing people who are part of Justin's village and what they did to support him, and now it's really amazing. So I'm really happy for you, and we're looking for good things to come. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Now, at this time, I'd like a community member who's the general manager of Music City SF, Peter Jacobson, to say a few words.
First, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Breed, to Supervisor Peskin, and really to everyone else who's been just so welcoming to us throughout this process. My name is Peter Jacobson. I'm the general manager of Music City. We're located at Bush and Polk, and we're committed to supporting local developing musicians in San Francisco. Growing up, to me, San Francisco was a place of creativity, of community, and of empathy. Our neighborhood here is rich in community and creativity, but for an empathetic person, it can be a dispiriting place to be. Homelessness is the defining issue that our city faces today, and in many areas, like this one, it's one that's impossible to ignore. My heart is broken every day working here. The proposed navigation center in this building represents critical resources for 18 to 24-year-olds. These are young people who have already been failed by our system. And the question I'd like to ask is, what happens to an 18-year-old who's experiencing homelessness, who is denied the help that they need, denied possessions, hygiene, pets, denied the guarantee of a safe place to sleep? Realistically, the best case scenario is a 30-year-old experiencing homelessness. Now, we live in a city with a $12 billion annual budget. Navigation centers like this one alone will not solve the problem, but they're a massive step in the right direction. I know there are hundreds of people who would like to have their opinions heard. Our organization has been blessed. We've been in communication with Supervisor Peskin's office on this project for over a year now. As a member of the board of Lower Polk Neighbors and Lower Polk CBD, we've been doing everything we can to make sure that all the feedback reaches the right places. And to their credit, every department involved, whether it's the mayor's office, the Department of Homelessness, SFPD, every department is committed to making sure that this project is a success. But my plea is this: for all who involve themselves, that we may approach this crisis not with apathy, but with hope. For the moment we accept the suffering of others is the moment it becomes inevitable. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for that perspective, especially just really calling out the importance of why this particular Tay Navigation Center is important to young people who, if provided this sort of opportunity, anything could be possible. And I don't take for granted that everyone is fortunate enough to have a network of people that they could rely on for support or to just get them over that hump. And we are grateful that we have opportunities like this and incredible service providers that work with young people every single day. And I'm excited about this Navigation Center and what it's going to do. It not only will house transitional age youth to help them transition to hopefully a permanent housing opportunity with our Uprising campaign. Is that what it's called, Sherilyn? Rising Up, thank you. Our Rising Up campaign, where we are on a mission to make sure that we raise enough money to provide support to transitional age youth in this city so that they can get permanently housed. And Larkin Street has been really at the forefront of that particular program, and I'm excited about what that's going to do. I'm also excited about our partner in this effort, Goodwill, who downstairs, along with, I think, is it Google? Google and Goodwill? Anybody remember? No? Oh, just Goodwill? Okay, sorry. They will probably be using the search engine of Google to find jobs. But downstairs, Goodwill, who provides incredible services, provides opportunities for people to get a second chance at life, will provide a employment and training program for those young people. So the way that this building is about to be used and what it's going to do to support young people, to help them not only succeed but to thrive, is going to be incredible. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to work hard to get it open sooner rather than later. And in addition to the places that you all know we are opening up as navigation centers, we also have Supervisor Safai, who is here today, who was instrumental in opening one of our first navigation centers for parking. For people who were living in their vehicles. He worked really hard to get that location opened in his community against fierce opposition, and so we want to thank Supervisor Safai for joining us here today and his work in his community as well. So, a lot has been done, but a lot more to do. So again, thank you to all the department heads, the service providers, the people of this community, the Lower Polk Merchant Association, and so many incredible folks who really support these efforts. You know, I want to lastly say that as much as I wish we could wave a magic wand and make great things happen for this city and improve the quality of life and the condition in people's lives, there is no quick fix. There is no one thing that's going to solve one of the most significant challenges that we face as a city. But this, along with other efforts that we put forth together, are going to really improve the city for the better. And I'm looking forward to doing many more things like this throughout our city. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you.